genius, innovator, provocateur. Few artists in modern history have redefined music, fashion, and the very idea of celebrity as radically as Kanye West. From the streets of Chicago to the global stage, his journey is marked by brilliance and breakdown, triumph and controversy, silence and screams. He is one of the most acclaimed and criticized figures in pop culture. But who is Kanye West really? This is not just a story of success. It is the story of obsession, pain, rebirth, and the pursuit of God, fame, and freedom. This is the story of Kanye West. Kanye Omari West was born on June 8, 1977, in Atlanta, Georgia. When he was 3, his parents divorced. His mother, Donda West, moved with Kanye to the south side of Chicago. Donda was a professor of English, a refined intellectual woman who believed in her son fiercely. She raised him with a strong sense of identity, culture, and creativity. Kanye often described his relationship with her as not just mother and son, but best friends. She was his world, his foundation, his anchor. His future Heartbreak. Kanye grew up surrounded by art and contradiction. Chicago's vibrant music scene influenced his sound: soul, gospel, jazz, and house music. By 13, he was already writing poetry and making beats. He convinced his mother to buy him a keyboard, and from that point, music became his obsession. He was always different. In high school, while other kids tried to fit in, Kanye dressed like an artist, spoke like a philosopher, and acted like a visionary. He told people he would be the biggest artist in the world, and he believed it. In the late 1990s, Kanye began producing 4 local Chicago artists. He eventually caught the attention of Rockefeller Records and worked behind the scenes producing hits for Jay-Z, including the iconic Izzo HOVA. His signature chipmunk soul sound, high-pitched vocal samples from classic records became a trademark. But while his beats were in demand, Kanye wanted more. He wanted to rap. Everyone in the industry laughed. They said he didn't have the look, the background, the voice. He didn't fit the mold of what a rapper should be. But Kanye didn't care about molds. In 2002, just as his career was gaining momentum, he was in a near-fatal car crash that shattered his jaw. Most would have taken time to recover. Kanye went straight to the studio. He recorded Through the Wire, his mouth still wired shut. It was raw, painful, and completely unforgettable. That song would become the heartbeat of his debut album, The College Dropout. Released in 2004, it was a massive success, commercially, critically, and culturally. The College Dropout was everything mainstream rap was not: self-aware, spiritual, awkward, nerdy, deeply personal. Kanye rapped about student debt, religion, racism, and self-doubt. He didn't glorify violence, he questioned it. He didn't pretend to be invincible, he admitted he was insecure. The album redefined what hip-hop could be. It won Best Rap Album at the Grammys and announced the arrival of a new kind of artist. Then came Late Registration in 2005, recorded with producer John Bryan. Kanye blended hip-hop with lush strings, harpsichords, and orchestral flourishes. It was cinematic. Tracks like Gold Digger topped charts. But behind the scenes, Kanye was already battling ego, perfectionism, and the pressure to outperform himself. Graduation followed in 2007, marked by electronic beats, stadium anthems, and pop influences. With Stronger, he merged Daft Punk and rap into a global phenomenon. He was now not just a rapper, but a pop icon. But that same year, tragedy struck. Donda West, his mother, muse, and protector. After complications from cosmetic surgery, Kanye was devastated. He blamed himself. He stopped smiling in public. His tour collapsed. He began to spiral emotionally. In 2008, he released 808s and Heartbreak, an album that confused the mainstream and inspired the future. Kanye ditched traditional rap for auto-tuned singing and minimal production. It was cold, mechanical, and deeply sad. Critics were divided, but time proved it to be prophetic. Drake, Kid Cudi, Travis Scott emerged in its shadow. Kanye had once again changed the game. As his fame grew, so did his instability. The Taylor Swift incident at the 2009 MTV VMAs, where he interrupted her acceptance speech, cemented his image as unpredictable and arrogant. I'll let you finish. Became a cultural meme. President Obama called him a jackass. He became both the hero and the villain of American pop culture. He was ridiculed and worshipped, often, in the same breath, but then redemption. In 2010, Kanye disappeared to Hawaii and returned with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy On album, often cited as one of the greatest of all time. Lush, complex, and self-aware, it was a confession, a confrontation, and a coronation, all in one. It featured everything: ballet dancers, King Crimson samples, Nicki Minaj as a narrator, Bon Iver, and haunting vulnerability. It was Kanye at his artistic peak, but it was also a cry for help. In the years that followed, Kanye became more erratic, more ambitious, and more unfiltered. He launched the Yeezy fashion line, transforming streetwear into high fashion. Despite early rejection from the fashion elite, Kanye broke into the industry with brute creative force. His shoes became global phenomena. The Yeezy Boost 350 became as iconic as his music. Forbes later declared him a billionaire. In 2013, Yeezy dropped a harsh, industrial, minimalist album that divided fans. It was angry, aggressive, punk-like. It wasn't made to be liked. It was made to disrupt. Then came The Life of Pablo, a chaotic, ever-changing, gospel-infused project that Kanye edited even after its release. He had created not just an album, but a living, breathing artwork. Behind the scenes, his mental health was deteriorating. He was hospitalized in 2016 after a psychotic break, later revealing he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. His behavior became increasingly erratic. Strange tweets, public feuds, sudden mood shifts, moments of brilliance, and breakdown. In 2018, he met with President Donald Trump in the White House wearing a MAGA hat, sparking global outrage, and came his infamous TMZ interview where he claimed slavery sounded like a choice. His words, often unfiltered and contradictory, sparked debates about race, media, mental health, and power. In 2019, Kanye took a dramatic turn towards God. He founded Sunday Services' spiritual music experience blending gospel choirs, sermons, and Kanye's reimagined classics. It was moving, transcendent, and confusing all at once. He released Jesus is King, a gospel album with no profanity. It debuted at #1 and won a Grammy for Best Contemporary Christian Music Album. He declared himself a servant of Christ. He said he would no longer make secular music. Fans didn't know whether to praise him or panic. At the same time, his personal life was unraveling. His marriage to Kim Kardashian, most famous celebrity couple, the two had 4 children, who stood by him through mental health crises and public scandals. But by 2021, they divorced. Kanye's grief was public. He pleaded for her return. He lashed out online. He feuded with her new partners. The drama played out on screens across the world. It was tabloid gold and personal hell. In 2022 and 2023, Kanye's darkest chapters unfolded. He made anti-Semitic remarks in interviews and on social media, praising Hitler and espousing dangerous conspiracy theories. Adidas, Balenciaga, and other brands severed ties. His billionaire status evaporated overnight. He was banned from platforms. For the first time, even his most loyal fans struggled to defend him. He had crossed a line not of tastes, but of morality. And yet there is something tragic and deeply human about Kanye West. He is not merely a celebrity meltdown. He is a brilliant artist trapped in a world that can't contain him. He's a prophet. To some, a narcissist; to others, a patient, a poet, a father, a fighter. He is trying desperately to define himself outside of media narratives, outside of corporate structures, outside of even his own past. Today, Kanye lives mostly outside the spotlight. He occasionally appears online, sometimes with a mask, sometimes with cryptic music, sometimes silent, but always watching, always evolving. His influence is undeniable, on music, on style, on culture. From the beats of Graduation to the minimalist tones of Yeezus. From the heartbreak of 808s to the worship of Jesus as King, Kanye's legacy is sprawling, controversial, unmatched. He has inspired artists, reshaped fashion, and forced the world to reconsider what an artist is allowed to be. He has made more mistakes than most would survive. But that is Kanye West, a man who dares to destroy himself in the pursuit of reinvention. A man who cannot stop creating even when it hurts. Him. A man who has never been easy to love, but impossible to ignore. His story is still being written. Whether he returns in silence or in fire, one thing is certain: Kanye West is not done. Because legends, even flawed ones, never truly disappear. As he once said, name one genius that ain't crazy. In recent years, Kanye West has receded further from the public eye, but his presence still echoes loudly across pop culture. Though he has faced deep consequences, personal, financial, and social, he continues to influence the very systems that tried to cancel him. Despite the controversies that led to the loss of his billionaire status and mass brand rejection, Kanye remains a subject of fascination. Why? Because even when he falls like a planet-shifting orbit, pulling everything with it. After the implosions of 2022, Kanye went silent for a time. No interviews, no tweets, no public appearances. But silence, for Kanye, has never meant stillness. In the shadows, he continued to create, working on music, fashion prototypes, and ideas that defied categorization. There were rumors of underground recording sessions, leaked demos, secret collaborations. Pop culture watched and waited. Would he return? Could he return? Then, in early 2023, he released Vulture's An album that reunited him with Ty Dolla $IGN and introduced a raw, darker version of the Kanye sound. It was fragmented, unpredictable, not entirely cohesive, and yet undeniably his. The rollout was chaotic, unplanned, streamed live from Berlin nightclubs and church services. As usual, Kanye rejected the rules of marketing. The album, like the man behind it, resisted structure, and yet something had changed. There was less fury, less fire, more exhaustion, more weariness. Interviews became rare, appearances briefer. His statements, when they came, were cryptic. Fans speculated, was Kanye tired? Was he healing? Or was he plotting something bigger? Through it all, one constant remained: his children, North St. Chicago and Psalm. In moments when he speaks publicly now, it's often about them. He refers to them as his legacy, his true reason for creating. In many ways, Kanye has moved from being a voice of a generation to being a father watching the world his children will inherit. He talks less about fame and more about freedom, less about power and more about purpose. Whether this is maturity or merely another chapter in a cycle, only time will tell. There's also his complicated relationship with religion. What began with Jesus Walks became a full-blown spiritual rebranding during Jesus' King and Sunday service. But even as he embraced faith, he challenged the institutions of Christianity. He refused to be boxed in. Kanye's God is both savior and collaborator. In his mind, he creates with the divine. His Sunday services weren't just worship, they were performance art, social protests, and high-fashion theater all at once. It was part gospel, part opera, part Yeezy runway. Kanye's life is a collision of contradictions, Christian and chaotic, billionaire and outcast, genius and provocateur, prophet and pariah. He demands worship but invites rejection. He breaks everything, including himself, and calls the pieces art. Some say he's lost. Others say he's freer than ever. But one thing remains undeniable: Kanye West has redefined what it means to be an artist in the 21st century. He blurred the lines between music and fashion, religion and rebellion, vulnerability and ego. Without Kanye, there is no Travis Scott arena opera. It's no Tyler, the creator fashion movement. It's no Virgil Abloh crossing the gates of Louis Vuitton. He opened those doors, sometimes by kicking them down. And yet, his biggest creation may not be music or clothing. it may be the Kanye myth itself. The idea that a black man from Chicago could imagine himself not just as great, but as godlike. That imagination alone is revolutionary. In a world that polices black ambition, Kanye's delusions were defiance. He didn't ask for permission, he demanded space. And in doing so, he forced everyone else to confront their own limitations: art, race, and power. But the cost of this self-deification has been immense. Kanye has burned bridges, not just with brands, but with communities, with fans, with family. His flirtations with dangerous ideologies didn't just hurt his career, they hurt people. For many, forgiveness feels impossible. The question lingers: is Kanye West a misunderstood genius, or a man who refused to stop at the warning signs? In moments of clarity, Kanye himself seems to understand the damage. In 2024, in a rare public comment, he said, "I'm not proud of everything I've said, but I'm proud I never stopped speaking." That quote in itself encapsulates his paradox. Even when wrong, especially when wrong, Kanye insists on his right to exist loudly. And perhaps that's why we still watch. Because Kanye West is not just a musician or designer. He is a mirror. He reflects our contradictions, our need for greatness, our thirst for meaning. He shows us how close brilliance can sit to madness, how faith can flirt with ego, how pain can fuel beauty. As he nears 50, Kanye West stands not as a finished figure, but as an open question. Will he rebuild his empire? Will he fade into obscurity? Or will he, as he's always done, reinvent himself once again, rising not from ashes, but from rubble of his own making? No matter what comes next, one truth remains. You cannot write the story of 21st century music or culture without Kanye West. He has shaped how we sound, how we dress, how we perform, and how we self-destruct. He is both architect and demolition crew, both statue and hammer. Maybe that's why we care. It's because buried in the chaos, the arrogance, the collapse, there's still that kid from Chicago who believed he could change the world with a beat, a prayer, and a microphone. And somehow he did.